Welcome, listeners, to our Advanced English episode. Today, we'll be exploring a realistic parent-teacher meeting scenario at Greenfield High School. To begin, Mr. Thompson, could you explain the typical goals and structure of these meetings?
Thank you. Parent-teacher meetings are designed to foster collaboration between educators and families. We discuss the students' academic progress, strengths, and any areas for growth. Structurally, we start with achievements, move to challenges, and finish with actionable steps.
That's helpful context. For our listeners, understanding this structure can really demystify school meetings, especially in English-speaking environments. Shall we move on to discussing how to open such a conversation formally?
Absolutely. A professional opening sets a respectful tone and helps everyone feel comfortable, which is essential for productive dialogue.
Mr. Thompson, when you first greet a parent like Mrs. Reyes, what language do you use to establish a formal yet friendly atmosphere?
I typically say, "Thank you for meeting with me today, Mrs. Reyes. I appreciate you taking the time." This acknowledges the parent's effort and signals openness.
That's a great example. Would you recommend sharing the meeting's agenda at this point?
Definitely. I might add, let's begin by discussing Carlos's strengths, then review areas for improvement. It sets expectations and shows respect for the parent's time.
Listeners, note how these phrases balance professionalism and warmth key for positive school interactions. Once the meeting is underway, how do you introduce a student's achievements in a way that feels both sincere and specific?
I use concrete examples. For instance, Carlos has shown steady progress in writing, particularly in organizing his ideas. This approach goes beyond general praise and builds credibility.
That's insightful. Research shows that detailed feedback increases parental engagement as it demonstrates genuine attention to the student.
Exactly. I also highlight soft skills, saying, "He's attentive in class and collaborates well during group projects." Recognizing different strengths gives a fuller picture.
Transitioning to challenges, what strategies do you use to discuss areas for improvement without discouraging the parent or student?
I frame feedback constructively. For example, Carlos occasionally struggles with group tasks, but with guidance, he's making progress. Using occasionally softens the message while focusing on growth.
That makes sense. It's similar to the sandwich method, where positive feedback surrounds areas needing attention. Is this technique widely used?
Yes, it's effective. Balancing praise with suggestions encourages collaboration and avoids defensiveness, which is crucial in maintaining a trusting partnership.
Could you share some polite ways to suggest next steps or improvements, especially when discussing sensitive topics like low test scores?
Certainly. I'd say, it might be helpful if Carlos reads more at home. Or, I recommend scheduling a few extra tutoring sessions. Modal verbs like might and recommend soften the delivery and invite collaboration.
Interesting. This kind of polite hedging is a hallmark of professional English, especially in educational settings where directness can sometimes feel too harsh.
Exactly. It's about showing respect for the parent's perspective while still providing clear guidance.
Let's shift to classroom behavior and social skills. How do you discuss these elements diplomatically, especially if there are concerns?
I use specific, non-judgmental terms. For example, Carlos is generally respectful and punctual, though he can be distracted during longer lessons. This avoids labeling and focuses on observable behaviors.
That's a smart approach. Studies show that descriptive feedback helps parents understand situations without feeling blamed, resulting in more effective support at home.
Absolutely. I also ask, how does Carlos behave at home during homework time? This opens a two-way dialogue for deeper understanding.
We've covered feedback and suggestions, but how do you actively involve parents in supporting their child's progress?
I emphasize partnership by saying, "We're here to work together to support Carlos." I also invite questions, making it clear their input is valued.
That collaborative mindset is vital. According to a 2021 Harvard study, students with involved parents demonstrate 20% higher academic achievement.
Exactly. I always encourage parents to share observations from home and suggest strategies, fostering a team dynamic focused on the student's success.
Sometimes, parents express worries or ask for clarification. How do you respond in a way that maintains trust and reassures them?
I listen carefully and acknowledge their concerns, saying, "I understand your concern about Carlos's test scores. Let's explore some solutions together. This validates their feelings and shows willingness to help.
That's excellent. Would you also provide concrete resources or follow-up actions at this stage?
Absolutely. I might say, please let me know if you need any resources or follow-up, underscoring my commitment to ongoing support.
As the meeting wraps up, what's the best way to summarize and ensure everyone leaves with clear expectations?
I recap key points. To summarize, Carlos is making good progress in writing and will focus on group work and reading at home. I'll send a summary email. This reinforces action items and accountability.
That's very systematic. Summaries help prevent misunderstandings and provide a reference for parents to follow up later.
Exactly. It also demonstrates professionalism and respect for the parents' involvement.
Before we close, let's give our listeners a practical activity. How can they practice using formal feedback language discussed today?
Listeners, try summarizing a student's progress using at least 3 phrases from this episode, such as steady progress, areas for improvement, and I recommend. Role-play a brief dialogue to apply these structures.
Great advice. Reflecting on tone and structure is key. Notice how each phrase maintains respect and clarity. Practicing this style will build your confidence in real academic meetings.
With regular practice, you'll find these formal expressions become second nature, making your school interactions smoother and more effective.